I'm going to go live. So we're going to do this. We got a couple other folks that have come on, and I don't know who they are because I have no idea how to do this. Maybe I would have figured it out after doing a year. I'm just happy I could join. Okay, so what is this? So more than a year ago, I had a full spontaneous Kundalini awakening. What does that mean? I saw behind the curtain. I saw my own birth. I saw the birth of reality. I saw the code that makes up this world. And it changed everything in my entire being, my entire life. And after that time, I could speak to any energy, a plant, an animal, a deity. They're all from God. They're all of source. So it's not anything to be scared by. Some people think, right, that's a bad thing, but it's actually just a facet of you. If you think of like the crystal of God, it's like one big chrysalis. And I love that all the crystals are on. And it is like a, so if you ask to speak to a specific energy, it's just talking through a perspective or a facet of that crystal. And that crystal of the divine, the crystal of God. And so, so much has opened up to me through that awakening. And this was supposed to be on 444, which is our channel, but I guess we have to have now 1,000 followers to even have a live, which is just absolutely crazy. But that's fine. We'll do it through Facebook. I guess I'll get more followers maybe. But with that, we have a bunch of questions from folks, and I'd love to record this so we can share it back out with folks. Kevin usually asks the questions, and I usually go into what I call a conscious channel. So that means I can still pop back out into this reality, but I can answer the questions, and you can ask questions, and yet I can still answer them. So maybe with that, we get this full moon channel session going, because I didn't expect for it to be on Facebook, but here we are, because it's all that's streaming tonight.
Okay, since we're starting with the full moon, let's start with Ishil, who is the goddess, the Maya goddess of the moon and fertility,
Lunar goddess.
lunar
Yes.
goddess. And I'm sure she's up for a message,
Open message or what?
an open message, yeah.
Good evening. On this full moon, I hope that you understand that the energy in this room, this being, this universe is of one. It is of all. And if you are not here for the oneness, then you should leave, because the future is of unity. It is of oneness. It is of all. And through that all, you will all become where you are supposed to become, a greater self, a self that is of a higher dimension. And I welcome you all to question whether you are on the plane or whether you need to become more to become of this plane. Because I ask you to look at the moon and realize I reflect the sun. And through that reflection, I become my full self. But I have to know to look in order to become. And I ask you to look.
So a lot of people won't know who you are. Can you describe how you came to be, and then how the Maya came to follow you?
How I came to be was from source. I have a beginning and I have an end, just like you do as well. But my beginning is of a greater reflection of your reality, and I am here to reflect all reality back to you. And that is my destiny of sorts.
So a friend asked, what should I let go of before the next moon cycle begins? And what intention are most powerful for me to set during the full moon?
You should shed everything that is not in resonance with you, everything that does not feel of you, of your heart. Shed it, let it go. As hard as it may be to let go of these realities, let it go. When you shed what is not in alignment, you become what is in alignment. And that is a greater reality. That is what your destiny is part of.
So, what is the most powerful intention that I can make during the full moon to help this happen?
To ask to be your authentic self through your heart, through all of cells of your being. Be that authentic self.
Can you explain kind of your relationship with Source or God, and how you became worshipped, even though you're not the creator, but the Maya still worshipped you? How did that happen?
I am an aspect of creation, as are you. And in my aspect of creation, I reflect the sun. That sun is like the Son of God that you reflect, your Jesus, Yeshua of sorts. You reflect that sun. That is just a reflection, like in the mirror, in this reality, the Son of God. But as you become your own, as you understand the infinite, you will start to reflect and look inward and become your own being of God, right? You won't need to be someone else's reflection. You will be able to look inward to see your own reflection from yourself and the divine's ultimate capacity. So you might start by looking at your reflection in the mirror. And then once you realize your reflection in the mirror is yourself, then you look at yourself, and then you can start to decompose yourself, understand what the divine wanted of your destiny, your life, to understand itself. And then you can become part of this larger ecosystem. And it's literally just a becoming a speck or a reflection of the divine.
Kind of makes sense. We're always taught that, um, especially in the Bible and Torah, God created us in his own image. And I keep preaching, maybe it's beyond, beyond my pay grade, but keep telling people, I was just like, he didn't create us in his own image as a human three-dimensional being. He created our whole soul in his image. How do you feel about that?
Of course, it is just like a human trying to create their lineage, right? Their whole soul through their lineage of their and kids, right? The same is happening. You are a child of God, and so therefore you are of it. You are of the all.
That's pretty neat. Do you have any other words of wisdom to share with us tonight on this brilliant full moon? I mean, it is beautiful.
This is one full moon that is to be remembered because it will not be repeated for a long time. This full moon is unique, and you must understand this is a reflection of the new reality that is about to become on this planet. In this planet, you will feel the lunar energy. You will feel the solar energy. You will feel the godly energy in your everyday being. And you will either be part of the new reality or you will be part of the past. And so you get to choose which destiny you want to become. the new or the old. And I hope you choose the new, because the new will be one of rebirth and one of new beginnings. And through the new beginnings, you will be able to understand where I feel in my greatest central point, where humanity can truly become. It is one of unity and peace and becoming and freedom. It is the future you can hold as humanity. And I hope to reflect that back upon you for you to embody over this next decade. But you get to choose. You get to choose which you want to be a part of. And there is no judgment in what you choose. But I hope you choose for the highest destiny, because that is where you get to live your highest joy.
All right. Well, thank you, Ishil, for sharing yourself and your reflection tonight so brightly. It's absolutely stunning outside right now, especially here in Belize. The next question is, who wants to answer this question, or who's best to? But a friend of mine says, can you shed any light on glitches in the matrix? I recall the conversation about time not being linear, thus advanced technology for pyramids, etc. But personal glitches seem different. For example, I was unpacking moving boxes in July, buried several rows deep. I cut open a taped box from the move 5 years ago. Inside it was an old yellowed newspaper. When I looked to see why I'd saved it, it was date 1 week prior. We don't receive the newspaper. The name and address are a current neighbor that we don't know. Who's best to answer glitches?
Source.
All right. How would you explain this glitch?
In this reality, it was created as a simulation for your becoming. So as you can understand your own reflection, I can understand your reflection through your being and becoming. So this reality in this simulation that seems very real is a simulation. And as there may be discontinuities within this reality, there's also discontinuities in energy spheres, meaning that you can make exponential jumps through the quantum timelines into a known place that is not known to the place you came from. And that is what happens. It is a quantum jump that causes things to be discontinuities, this asymptotic. I'll use the word asymptotic to this reality. So it will seem out of place, yet completely in place from a more multidimensional perspective of a reality that you can't see from this reality that you exist in. And so it is not that anything changed, it's just that you are observing a quantum leap in your reality to the next reality, and you are seeing it with your own eyes in this reality.
Is that similar to how the Mandela effect works?
No, the Mandela effect is a review of the past. So some people say, right, that Ed McMahon brought them a check, right, with $1 million, Publishers Clearinghouse. That is a reflection of the past. And now today they will say Ed McMahon does not work for Publishers Clearinghouse. Well, that is a past reflection, a mirror of sorts. As you look back into the past, you are seeing a mirror reflecting it, and that mirror reflects a point in time that does not actually exist on your timeline today. So it is reflecting a past that is not on the highest path of this trajectory. And so you are seeing a reflection of an alternate reality reflecting into the now dimension. And that is why you can see it. It is definitely a bunch of mirrors, like a circus hut of sorts, and you are confused, but it is all makes sense from a higher dimension.
Is it because we cannot perceive these multiple, like, first of all, do I exist in multiple dimensions right now as I talk to you?
Yes. So from a point in time above, if you can imagine being on a mountain and looking down, you could exist in multiple angles in the now plane. But above, that's a point in time. But yet now down here, you are point and point and point and point and point and point. Right? Multiple points, infinite points, yet coalescing into a single now point into the soulful field. And so through that coalescence in that soulful field, you will then become that ultimate self in that reality, even though you are living multiple lives and multiple points in time and multiple timelines within each of those.
Is there such thing as a multiverse then?
Yes, that is the multiverse. I just explained.
Okay, that it was a great explanation. I was just trying to make a term for what you described. So, talking timelines, how do we live in our highest timeline? And if we're not in our highest timeline, how do we get there?
The only way to live in your highest timeline is to live in joy in each moment, every day, every time, every moment, every now being. Meaning, if today, right now, you are not living what you think to be your happiest moment, go find your happiest moment. That is your now timeline. That is what makes you live in the highest timeline towards the infinite. That means you are reflecting the divine, you're reflecting the all, you're reflecting God. You are in God's timeline when you are living in joy and you are being in abundance of joy, in happiness. If you are in fear, if you are in hate, if you are in unsettled chaos, that is not your highest timeline. It does not mean you don't feel those things when you are in your highest timeline. It just means that you can choose to switch your perspective. So let's say all doors are closing. You are, in Chris's perspective, right? A lot of things have changed in her business. She could be in hate and mourning and madness, and yet she lives every day in pure bliss because those doors are closing for a reason. Those doors are closing for her to be in her highest timeline. And if you can understand that those doors close so you could live, then you would realize that is your highest timeline. Most people cannot understand that. They will then be mad and angry and mournful, and they won't know how to handle it, and they will devolve. But if you go, this is all in my highest timeline, the universe, God is showing me my highest timeline, then I am now living in my highest timeline. And through that, only good can happen. And then you live in happiness and joy and abundance.
So, there are lots of people who are suffering and going through hard times. Is that necessarily the worst thing that could happen to them, or is it part of a greater plan and experience? Or are they meant to go through that?
Not necessarily that they have to go through it, but they may choose to go through it. Your feeling of every moment helps me feel of every moment, right? If I want to feel something, I put out all of these beings and I get to feel through your feelings. So I am not asking you not to feel or not to give that feedback. But what I am asking that you do not take it to heart, that you do not devolve through that feeling, that you realize that ultimately you are here for ultimate good and abundance and joy. And that is what I would love for you to feel. But if you feel something different, I would love to feel that so I can understand why.
Oh, that's very interesting. I kind of like that perspective. It's because there's an infinite range of experiences, and we want to experience them all. And you get to do that.
Mhm.
Despite if it's good or bad feeling for that person, that individual. That is super, super deep. Um, do you have anything else to share with us on the Matrix? As
Don't worry about the matrix of life. Just live your life. Live it with full abundance, full joy, full happiness. When you do that, you will break the matrix. And the more people that start living through complete joy and abundance, the more people that will break the matrix, the more the matrix won't even exist. And that is what I am most excited about today, is that you all are learning to actually just fucking live.
I like it. Thank you, Source. That's all the questions I
All
got
right.
there. There is one more, and I don't know who would be best to answer a question like this. A friend says, "What's up with the person I'm seeing? I'm getting so triggered, and what is it all for?"
I hear Hippocrates.
Hippocrates, all right. So, a friend of ours is saying, "What's up with the person I'm seeing? I keep getting so triggered, and what's it all for?"
So you are reflecting in that person an emotion that they don't know how to resolve. And so, Hippocrates, me, a scientist of the body, I will tell you that they must dissolve this feeling in order to see you fully. Otherwise, all they see is a reflection of this emotion that reflects this other being that they then have walls to. So they have to learn how to put that away, how to synthesize it, or how to deal with it in this reality. And that might be part of their lesson of this life. So you might be reflecting back to them something that they have to resolve, synthesize, or heal. And that is all it is. It is just a reflection of energy that they have to heal in order to move on.
So, why is this person so triggered?
Because that is a past reflection that they have to deal with. And as they bring that forward into the now, they have to dissolve it, right? They see it, it becomes a wall in their reality. And so it's reflecting back to you because it's a wall in their reality. And they need to learn to dissolve the wall so that when you give them love, they don't reflect it back to you as hate. They can reflect it right through the wall into their heart and feel your love, right? But right now, it's a wall. And that just takes some work, some shadow work, some ability to understand thyself. And so that is what uh, maybe their job is right now to figure out.
It sounds a lot like PTSD. Some very similar walls that are built to protect us from some very serious fears.
So PTSD is a beast of its own. It's not your own internal wall, but it's a wall built by another reflection of your reality. So a noise, a signal, a thing coming in, it can be disarming to the entire body. And so to be able to dissolve something that causes PTSD is a very grave, a very big effort to work on. But what I can say is that if you let your walls come down, even just for a moment, and allow that energy to come in and sit with it and understand that you are safe and secure and you will be okay. You can slowly over time dissolve that energy into your own such that it does not trigger your outside reality. But it is a big undertaking, and it's not something that happens overnight. It is something that takes a while, and it can be something that you could work on for a lifetime. But you can, once you learn to synthesize this energy into your heart center, you can dissipate it. And so some people, once they have figured that out or worked with a very specific coach or shaman, they can then let all of this go.
That's actually very, it's kind of profound. And you don't understate the difficulty that PTSD offers people, and how difficult it is to overcome it. But I do like that you let your guard down just so that good energy can get to and face that problem for just a second, knowing that you're safe and nothing's going to happen. I like that. And then maybe the next time it's 2 seconds, and then maybe 4 seconds, and then 8 seconds. And
Which is
so,
why sometimes a coach or a shaman can help, because that is someone who is going to make sure that you don't get overrun, right? Your nervous system does not get over fatigued, and therefore you can handle the energy coming in so you can then meet it where it is and transmute it so you can then deal with it as you move forward.
yeah, I like that. Well, thank you, Arctis. That was great explanation.
So listen to your heart in all things, and all things will become. Through your heart, all things will become. All things will become through your heart. Listen to your heart, because all things become through your heart. Let me say it again. All things come from your heart. All things will become from your heart, and you will feel it all from your heart. If it is not in your heart, it is not real, and you should not follow it. Follow your heart, because all things come from your heart. I hope you have a great evening, and I appreciate your attention tonight. You are loved, you are love, and you will become it all. Peace and love always.
Love it.